I evidently have missed so much important stuff for this game. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Oh boy, I have missed a lot. So I got to talk about the new prize cards to start things off here. Evidently one of these BLSs came through and moved for, I think it was 1.5 million yen, which is like close to, I think it was $9,000, $10,000 in terms of the secondary market. That's crazy to think about. And just the fact alone right now that, you know, we're seeing uniquely arted prize cards with the actual, 2026 top duelist on it is a remarkable thing to see. And I mean, like, honestly, these came out of left field. I did not expect to actually see beautifully arted cards like this. And also, you know, the new Call of the Haunted. I know a lot of people are complaining about this being the Call of the Haunted art, but like, I think this is actually a really nice tone to this, actually having the ghost bell chick going into the door. She's just haunting your house. There's nothing crazy about this. I think both of these will make a really, probably the BLS will end up being our next YCS prize card with the Call of the Haunted. Following it up, we're pretty notorious for actually, you know, getting these. And the fact that, you know, they basically just dropped these out of left field was really, really nice. So here's to hoping that, you know, these will be your next mechanically awesome prize cards for the alts. I mean, like, there's only one ultra rare for this, and then the supers. Like, these are going to be very, very, very exciting collectible items. So I missed a couple of cards over the weekend too. One of them being the new this card I think is wonderful for the game. So this is called Spatial Trunade. So you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Return up to 2 cards on the field to the hand. I love the fact that this can also benefit you as well, because you can bounce back a resource on your field and use this kind of as like a pseudo starter going into the next turn, which is really cool. Then for each player that places a card in their hand, they have to place it on the bottom of the deck in, you know, equal to the number of returns. So if you target 2 cards in your opponent's field, you have to take 2 cards from your hand and place them on the bottom of the deck. This would only be able to really work bouncing back your star if you have another card to recycle, which is fine, but this is just a really weird form of control bounce. You know, it just, yeah, your opponent can keep the cards in their hand, but you know, it does basically provide you with the option set to be able to work with things, which I think this card really, for Beyond the Brave, is a very, very, very uniquely, you know, good tool. And this will probably be one of your more generic cards out of the set. There's also the utility selection. So we only got 1 card out of utility selection, and it is Kanan the Sword Mistress. First of all, interesting choice, Konami. Interesting choice to only give us 1 utility selection card. I figured they would give us more info than this, but I guess logically, you know, presenting only the 1 was good enough. So you can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. Special summon a normal monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard in defense position. It must be level 4 or lower if from the deck, or we get the nice following effects if we already have a normal monster. So you can apply one of these effects. We can destroy all monsters the opponent controls, destroy all spells and traps your opponent controls, draw 2 cards, special summon a monster from either graveyard to your field. First of all, destroy all monster your opponent controls, so free board wipe. The only problem I have with that is it's not a quick play. That would have been really nice. We can destroy all spell trap cards your opponent controls. Once again, not a quick play. We can draw 2 cards. I mean, this is just pot of greed for normal monsters at that stage, which is not terrible. Or we get a special summon from the opponent's, or from either graveyard. So it turns into Monster Reborn. You know, I think that it's cool that they are using utility selection as a way to bring back the feel and the flavor to old things. But the problem here is this isn't enough. This is only 3 additional copies of normal monster support. Is this really good in Primite? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. You know, the Anotherverse monsters are finally going to get something here. So I think that's kind of unique for flavor. We also got Rush Duel, and I really wanted to talk about this because this alt art, this is so good. So, Chaos Emperor Dragon Legendary. You can special summon this card from your hand by placing a light and dark monster, each from your graveyard, on the bottom of the deck in any order. During the turn, this card is special summoned by the above method and has not activated its effect. This turn, pay 1,000. Send all cards in the hand and on the field to the graveyard, and then inflict 3 damage to your opponent times the number of cards sent to the opponent's graveyard with this effect. Yup, they actually allowed Chaos Emperor Dragon to work in his original way, which is kind of crazy to think about. I'm actually surprised they did this. This was a very chaos-themed stream, so that was pretty interesting. Now, there's some other little tidbits of news that have come out that are pretty interesting for things. We also got confirmation that the next tournament pack winner card is a special blue version of Fusion Destiny. They've been loving doing these blue rare cards. They are little significant choices of showing, you know, what we can possibly get. And the Destiny Hero support coming up right now is a pretty big deal. I know a lot of people are going to be very excited to get their hands on that. Also, we got Winners Pack confirmation. So Winners Pack 2, this is the kind of stuff that usually gives us sneak peeks into the minds of Konami. You know, what are we reprinting, or, you know, what is the reprints tell future cards. Dinosaurs. There's been what are we gonna get for dinosaur relation here? Because to see that, you know, Overtex is getting a reprint is particularly interesting. The end of the Anubis, I mean, this is just a classic card that definitely needs more life brought into it. I think it would be really cool if we could get something to be able to bring out the end of Anubis, truthfully, but I don't really think that's going to be the case. Wallow definitely needs a reprint and a nice rarity upgrade. I think this is good. Thea Realize. I'm wondering if this is actually going to tell us that we're going to be getting more of the Medius lore. I thought we were essentially done with the Medius lore, with where we're at right now in terms of, you know, the lore, but I guess it's not really the case. And then, of course, the Rage of Kyroshin. As you guys know, we got that entire Daedalus archetype, so it makes sense for us to be getting some water support kind of on the back end. So, I mean, we already have the answer to this rank 6 end of Anubis, I'm not sure, and Overtex is a pretty interesting sign. We did get the round 1 push through for this, which this was all pretty interesting stuff. Leviathan Dragon, both of these make sense. This was for the rock deck, and then Gradle Dragon getting the reprint gave us confirmation. You also have to remember, you can play First Penguin in the new archetype we got last week, to be able to search for the water monster, which is very, very, very important to some of the methods that this deck wants to play. Also, we did get some reprints for utility selection last night. I was going to make a video on this, but I ended up being too tired to talk about this. So, give me my visual here, please. So, once again, we got more dinosaurs, man. They're really pushing this dinosaur reprint agenda. I'm telling you. Quackimera Guardians for the Adamancipator. Misk, hello? Overraptor, there has got to be something big coming for dinosaurs, man. Crowley is for Magistus. Same thing with Zoroa. The Mask Searcher. Is this more zombie support in our future? These are just good generic synchro monsters. The way it looks, Baron always needs a reprint. Zoroa, Dawn Dragster for the synchro slot. More dinosaurs. What are we getting for dinosaurs, man? Just tell me, Konami. This is also pretty interesting. We're getting Coral Anemone. And then there is this Zombie Fusion spell card also getting the reprint. Oh boy, okay, sure, man. And we get Clockwork and then just Droplet Evenly Destructive, generically good trap cards here to kind of fill out the void. And also, they really didn't give you much in utility selection. I mean, like, you get probably one of the most boring arted packs I have seen in, like, the game's history. It's just that there's nothing that you're really getting. This is just supposed to be a pack that is going to give you good, decent, extra support, I guess. So what do you guys kind of think about everything here? A lot of interesting stuff. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back at Lindick. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.